In this video, I will show you how to multiply expressions involving complex conjugates. I'll show you two different methods. The first one is a little bit basic way. I will draw boxes to do multiplication of a trinomial times a trinomial. First thing you have to do is get this 9 minus I or 9 plus I out of this inner parenthesis. You see we have two parentheses, right? Per each factor. So get them out first. You will have x minus 9 and negative times negative will give you positive I. And the second one becomes x minus 9 and negative times positive will give you negative I. I like to draw a 3 by 3 box. Okay. I like to draw a 3 by 3 box and write down these terms. X, negative 9, and I. And you know where these came from, right? The x, negative 9, and this positive I wrote them as labels here. And then I'm going to write down x, negative 9, and negative I down here. I'm going to multiply. I'm going to do 9 multiplications here, okay? First, let's multiply through x times x. X times x is x squared. So write x squared here. You know, let me use different colors here. X squared. Because when we are done, we're going to combine all these green terms together that we have in this box. Next, I have to do negative 9 times x. That is negative 9x. Next, I need to do I times x. That is nothing more than ix. All right, second row, let's multiply negative 9 times x. That is negative 9x. Look, for the middle box, I must do negative 9 times negative 9. That is positive 81. Okay, and the last one, I have to do negative 9 times I. That is negative 9i. Now we're moving on to the last row. Negative I times x is just negative ix. And if I multiply negative 9 times negative I, that will turn into positive, right? Positive 9i. And the last one is a little bit challenging, so I do want to do that one on the side, okay? The last multiplication I must do is I times negative I, right? I times negative I. I'll show you what it is. First of all, what is I? I is square root of negative 1. So if I need to do I times negative I, I'm doing square root of negative 1 times, not an x, sorry, times negative square root of negative 1, right? Because that's what I is. So if I multiply the outside signs, you see the first one was a positive square root. So if I multiply the positive times negative, the sign outside will be negative. Now let's multiply the numbers inside. If you multiply negative 1 times negative 1, negative times negative will give you positive 1. Right? Negative times negative will give you positive 1. So what's that going to be? Square root of 1 is just 1. So that comes out to be negative 1. So our last multiplication, I times negative I is negative 1. I'm going to combine some like terms now, okay? A lot of terms, in fact, all terms that has i's will cancel out. Take a look. This will cancel out with this. Positive ix and negative ix cancels out. 9i and negative 9i cancels out. We have some like terms to combine though. These two will combine and become negative 18x. And I also need to combine these two. All right, hold on. Let me use this color. These two will add up to 80. I have to do 81 minus 1. So what's the final answer? The final answer is x squared minus 18x plus 80. So that's one method. That's what you can do. It's just really doing multiplication 9 times and adding all the terms together. So that's method 1. I'll show you another method, but for you to be able to do that other method, I want you to remember something. Remember when you had a plus b times a minus b, when you multiply a binomial that are exactly the same except for the sign in between the terms, what does that come out to be? That becomes a squared minus b squared. This is what we are going to use to do the second method. So I want you to remember that, okay? If you have a plus b times a minus b, that is simply a squared minus b squared. So over here, you start the same way. You distribute this outside sign to just write using one parenthesis. So I will have negative times negative, giving us plus 2. And then this plus 6i will become minus 6i. The second will become x plus 2. And then the negative 6i, because of negative times negative, I will have plus 6i. Now, we're going to group this, okay? I know we just got things out of the parenthesis, but I'm going to group this, okay? So, grouping it. Look, I'm going to group x plus 2. I'm going to group x plus 2. You see the orange? Let that be our A, okay? All right, what else is there? There is 6i, and there is 6i. Do you clearly see that this is a minus b times a plus b, right? The oranges are the same, the blues are the same, and one parenthesis has minus in between, the other one has plus in between. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a squared minus b squared. Okay, so the answer is... Oh no, hold on, I found a spider on my sleeve. Let me get rid of it first. Oh, that was terrifying. Okay, so I'm back. So what I need to do is I need to do x plus 2 squared. So that is a squared, right? That is a squared. And I need to do minus sign, b 6i squared. That is b squared, right? And all I need to do is I need to simplify this, and that will be it, okay? So if I get the first factor or first multiplication, that is x plus 2 times x plus 2. The next one is 6i times 6i. All right, let me multiply and combine some like terms, okay? If I FOIL this, I will get x squared plus 2x plus another 2x plus 4. Now look at this part for me. Oh, not an equal sign, but a minus sign. I do 6 times 6 to get 36. I must do I times I to get I squared. I'll tell you what I squared is. Remember that I is equal to square root of negative 1. So what is I squared? I squared is square root of negative 1 squared. So what happened to the square root? And squaring, it cancels out. So I squared is simply negative 1. So let me go ahead and simplify all the way. X squared plus 4x plus 4. But I will get negative 36 times I squared, which is negative 1. So look, that is x squared plus 4x plus 4. And if I multiply negative 36 times negative 1, that gives us plus 36. And now we can add the 4 and 36 and say that our final trinomial is x squared plus 4x plus 40. So two different methods. I drew boxes for the first method and just multiplied 3 by 3. The second method is using a plus b times b, a plus b times a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. So you pick the method you like, but we're gonna have to come back and do the last one. This will take some time. We're gonna have to do a lot of multiplication on our last example, but in this video I showed you two different ways of multiplying expressions involving complex conjugates.